Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We're playing with a Drain Essence Death Knight on hardcore ultimate difficulty. We've arrived at the Darkvale Gate. So today we're gonna have a meeting with Karos, the Sigil of Cthulhu, the end boss of this local area. And with a bit of luck, we're gonna traipse through the snow and make our way towards the tomb of the Ikon. I don't think we'll be able to actually head into the tomb, but heading into the direction, getting no close waypoint or something, should definitely be within the realm of possibilities. So this place is swarming with cultists. Cultists have a habit of dealing chaos and vitality damage and some fire damage. Chaos resistance is the only resistance that is not maxed. In fact, it is at 60%. So that particular kind of damage is gonna hurt. So we'll just have to be a little bit cautious. Oh, maybe a little bit more cautious. I mean, you always should be kind of cautious on hardcore. Because if you're not all that cautious, then eventually you are going to end up dead. But even if you are cautious, there's still the risk of ending up dead. So as always, I did some warm-up before heading out here. I killed a bunch of undeads in Spine Cove and Old Arcovia. I actually found one of the ghostly Spectral War Shields. But unfortunately it was kind of rubbish compared to even my current one. It's let alone rubbish compared to the ones I've got lined up for level 94. But it does feel like the shield drops have dried up a little bit. Whereas the first couple of runs I did, I found 1 or 2 shields per run. And now it's every 2 or 3 runs I maybe find 1 shield. So it definitely feels like the drop rate of those shields is incredibly random. There we go, another shield. Let's see. Are you trying to murder me? Yes, you are. It's also one of those places where I don't have the exact layout firmly in my head, so I do wander about a little bit. But it was something about making a U-turn. So far that seems to be panning out rather well. That was not an interactable corpse. Corpses without loot are of course the worst corpses. And look at that, an ornate treasure chest. Okay, I think there's enough things happening here that we should just take out the locals. And then we can move forward. Yeah, if you're trying to hit me in the face, I don't think you're gonna have much of a chance. Since, you know, I'm ranged. And there we go. Those are smarter. They actually throw some chaos bolts. Oh, gotta give credit where credit is due. These are not the most stupid of cultists. Not saying they're very smart, but they're not the most stupid either. I had a curse on me, but as always, of course, it wears off before you really can have a look at what it is doing. That's the one thing that still remains interesting, so to say, what all the debuffs do. The descriptions are rather vague, and trying to double check in real time with your stats is also not the most healthy of ways to do it. So oftentimes you simply just end up ignoring it. So this looks like poison, mark of pain. See, looks like poison, but it is not. Saps your strength, reducing damage speed and severely dampening health regen. Okay. That sounds like something that would be problematic if I were to heavily rely on health regeneration. Which I don't. Lucky me. But the best thing to do, of course, is to simply not get hit, not get debuffed. That's a difficult thing. So what are you? You're shielded and your body is burning. Okay.
That skill's not ready.
Shielded and burning. Level 98, so they're 6 levels above me. Okay, this one seems like I could knock it down, which is fun. I mean, if you knock them, it's effectively like they're being stunned. They can't do anything back. And we get some more things. A mythical purifier. It's a fire-based two-handed gun. Or rifle, I should say. Hello. Hidden spoils. Mythical Whisperer of Secrets. Now that sounds interesting. What does it do? It is a helm. And it grants... interesting combination of bonuses to Nightblade and Soldier. So Laceration, Circle of Slaughter, Blooded Reek. Blooded Reek is Occultist actually. Adds pierce damage to Blade Arc and bleed damage to Ring of Steel. So it's more of a defensively oriented one. There's no bonus to skills, to all skills on here. So that is a bit of a strike against it. But modifying skills, that does of course have its own value that is difficult to compare with a simple bonus such as +1 to all skills of a particular class. It really is going to depend on the build whether that's going to be a helpful item or not. But just simply knowing that there's quite a lot of helmets that have +1 to all skills of a particular class available on them, it does make it difficult to choose for an item such as this. It's going to be a very, very narrow choice. Hello. And goodbye. Soul Drinker, and look at that, it's a little bit ahead. Reality is tearing itself apart. Oh. Okay, Mr. Ravager, could you please let me go? I'd like to get closer to actually drain your soul. Yes. And another one. So far, still sustaining relatively well through all the damage that's being dealt. Also, just slowly gaining more experience, getting closer to level 93. After which, of course, 94 is going to be my real goal. Because there's gear upgrades waiting at 94, and I think at that point there's going to be enough surplus resistances that I can shuffle components and augments around to actually max out my resistance against chaos again. At which point I'll be a lot happier in a fight against anything cultist or chaos related. Karos, you are level 97, that makes you 5 above me. You have a habit of summoning lots of helpful minions, which I'm glad for, since it just simply helps me sustain. Does have a decently sized health pool. So just double checking, because there was a aura on me. Let's just drink an energy flask here. Okay, the Unraveler. Just gonna try and see if it is possible to just simply tank this guy. Because if you can tank it, then that's always the easiest way of dealing with it. In actually interacting with the game mechanics, that takes effort. If you don't have to expend the effort, then really you don't have to. Okay, so now I find myself drinking 2 energy flasks in a fight and still draining. So I'm definitely energy negative in the bigger picture. Not in a way that is unsustainable for shorter fights such as this. But I can imagine that something like the Logorian fight, that with my commando, that was a very long extended fight. You're gonna have to pay a lot more care to energy management in fights like that, and actually just buff up a little bit with... I do have some of the essence things around. This is health regen. What's the other one? Yeah. Royal Jelly Essence grants you 10% extra health and energy. So well, larger pool means more passive regen, larger reserves, and also the percentage restoration effect from your health and mana flasks. They will be stronger as well. Ooh, look at that. Another purple item. Yeah, here. Funny, just got 2 parts of the Beast Callers set. +1 summon limit to summon Briarthorn. Now that is interesting. There you get 2 pets. By itself doesn't do much. A bonus to Hellhound, some bonus to Briarthorn. No bonus to all skills, but then again, shoulder pads and body armor. The helmet is probably going to be the +1 to all. But this, for a occultist shaman, that would be a very nice set to go into if you're playing a summoner. So that's the conjurer build. This small treasure room down here is easy to overlook. Okay. So now we're out and about, and it is time to play in the snow. And I don't think there's really a strong reason to go back to Captain Summer just yet. Since we don't need the reputation, the reward's probably not going to be all that strong either. Well, there's going to be an XP reward, pushing us close to level 93. So from that perspective, actually I'm reconsidering. Might not be a bad idea to go back. And then
why do you have such a grim? Let's see.
Cross is dead. I will speak with Creed. We got some items. Mythical Flamekeeper's Girdle. That's Demolitionist Belt, if I remember. Demo Inquisitor. And a nice chunk of XP as I had expected.
I heard about Kara. This isn't the first time.
Oh,
You're here.
that's the wrong person. More reputation, and there we are. Now we have to chat again with him at the fort. Use the waypoint to get back, so we can just portal out, and then it is time for the snow. But first, there's people to kill here. Goodbye, and thanks for all the loot. So, trip south, we won't of course be finding and reading the lore, but we will find the main protagonists of that particular story at the end of our trip. Just inconspicuously hidden in between the other monsters. I must say it's been relatively quiet on the heroic enemies front. I had expected more of them. That's it, sometimes you catch a bit of a break. And it's just easy to progress further into the storyline. Oh, look at that. A regenerator, a troll thing. Or Chillmane. Siphon Souls is our weapon of choice against regenerators, since it suppresses their regeneration effect. There's a couple of unique items that also grant that effect. But Siphon Souls is by far the easiest way to do it. And there we go. Goodbye. Okay. So now we're actually getting pretty darn close to the Lughorian fight. So just thinking ahead a little bit. Right now we're playing in the snow. And now we're gonna grab some waypoints, and next episode we can do the Tomb of the Archon. I think we'll probably run towards the 4th Ikon waypoint today. Then next episode dive into the Tomb of the Archon. Have some fun in the area there. Maybe face Lucius. Lucius is ether based, my ether resistances are in good shape. So no, there's no problem there. Then afterwards we have the Fields of Strife. Fields of Strife of course have a portal into the Chaos Dimension for the Spirit of Mogdrogen. After that we can hand in the Rewari Legacy quest and obtain the ability to fight with the Avatar of Mogdrogen. I'm not gonna do that just yet. That's gonna be one of those endgame challenge things that are very close to suicidal. So we'll hold off a little bit on that. I would prefer to finish the story first. But no, after we do all of that, we have the Necropolis. No, it's a nice area to just have to walk through a little bit. There's the Black Sepulchre side area. Normally you go in there for the Devotion Shrine. In this case we don't really care too much, but might be fun to just clear the place anyway. Just a little bit confused about exactly where we are. Oh, yeah, of course there's one waypoint before we head further. So the sorcerers are, or the arcanists here are definitely one of the more spiky damage characters in the neighborhood, so do be careful of those. Right, so I'll just bump that one a little bit more. Physique gets more points, so slowly raising my life a little bit further with every level up. And the armor, offensive and defensive ability from the field commands, it is helpful to just keep things up. And especially, I noticed we're critting quite a lot. And we're getting crit quite a lot. Boss fights, a little bit of a different story, but against regular mobs, we're doing a lot of damage. So while just advancing through the story, that is helpful. Also, when we're doing boss fights that have add-ons, being able to quickly dispatch the add-ons reduces the total amount of damage that gets dealt to you during the fight. Because of course the boss is going to be the boss is going to be gnarly and icky. But if you manage to kill the add-ons, then at least you don't have the add-on damage on top of the boss damage. Because that is one of the things that did make the Lughorian fight very dangerous for my commando. Mythical Court of the Ancestors, that sounds like... Oh wait, that was a shaman thing, wasn't it? We found that one before. Yeah, a bit of vitality resistance, energy absorption, but it is Devouring Swarm and Heartseeker. And we can just put it in there. Quit. Bloodwagon, can't kill this one for the quest. We need to wait until much later. Below here, the third of the Hidden Path dungeons, where the Mad Queen is residing. I always do the Hidden Path after I wrap up the Lughorian. I think I should stick with the tradition there, including having a showdown with the Mad Queen. Yes, she's a super boss. Might be much more dangerous, but I think in that case, I'll always do it in that way. So I should just stick with the order that I've always done things.
I can't do that yet.
But that's going to be an interesting encounter after we do the Lughorian, then the Temple or then the Hidden Path, and then of course afterwards the Temple of the Three. Those are interesting fights and definitely places where I should at least be level 94 and have all of my resistances in good shape. Before that, it is probably going to be suicidal to even consider those. Okay, these things have the potential to do a lot of damage, so I'm actually overguarding here. I don't overguard a lot, Also discovered there's a corrupted boss in here. Here, I'll rip your spirit out and then reduce your damage a little bit by shouting. And there we go. No, by itself it might do a decent chunk of damage, but especially if there are more minions, it just becomes much more dangerous. No minions means, of course, less dangerous. And there we go. So Ruined Shrine can't do much against it since we still need one piece of the spirits. Usually, somewhere in this place we find the unique Ravager. Sometimes you find him, sometimes you don't. Sometimes he finds you. Wait, there's a Witch Doctor here. Maybe I should kill the Witch Doctor before it heals its friends. No, all part of the mantra of kill all healers. It's definitely not a privileged position to be a healer in games, since you really have a very large target painted on your back. Lots of Grobbles, Grobble Camp. And again, there's no shrine here, but we might run into some fun loot. Ooh, Will of Ratosh is now level 13. Or rank 13. So how strong is that one these days? 22% vitality resistance reduction, 8% life leech resistance reduction, and of course very solid vitality and ether damage applied every tick. And all other auras, let's see, we've got Giant's Blood nearly maxed out, 20% heal plus 1100 health, as well as 264 health regen. That is very nice. How is our latest edition doing? Stoneform, 10 out of 15. So that's 250 flat damage absorption, as well as a reduction to poison and bleed duration, and a nice bonus to retaliation damage. I think the bats are maxed. No, 24 out of 25. That's close to maxed. It's attached to Siphon Soul, so it procs relatively often, but damage is a bit on the lower end. But still, it's decent damage. There's piercing. There's even a main hand damage component. There's some leech on there. So there's a lot of things that are adding up. Oh, there's also the scales. I almost forgot about those. 18 out of 20. And over 4,000 vitality damage, 123% attack damage converted to health. So you do 4,000 damage, you get 5,000 health. That is pretty darn nice. And Energy Leech is, of course, incredibly helpful. Still like that skill. Okay, so this looks like there could potentially be something. And look at that, there's actually something. With a hidden spoils. So, little secret I didn't know about. So I found something, I'm happy. Okay, so this one had a little bit of an odd color, but it's not odd enough of a color to be caused by being a heroic mob.
That skill's not ready.
So from here, it usually, heading more towards the top end of things, and we're just gonna march straight into Fort Ikon. Ooh, it's always nice when enemies are fighting with each other. That means they're paying a little bit less attention to me, and I can just murderize all of them. Life is very efficient that way. Okay, over there again. Oh, barrier. Always forget about the barrier. Looks like you could jump over it, but we can do a lot. We can rip spirits out of people. We can drain their life. We can summon all kinds of bloody soul siphoning attacks. We can't jump over a small wooden beam. Nope, there are limits to our superpowers. Game logic. It still amuses me from time to time. Okay, Kamis chosen, and there's a charger in there. Okay. So everybody, please pay attention to me. Don't like to be ignored. And there we go. Last couple of enemies, and that is that. And now the relative safety of Fort Ikon, though Kamis chosen were here first. Always pans out that way. The enemy, or the faction that you chose to put yourself against, they always end up being the ones that first capture Fort Ikon. It's just a very, very strange coincidence. Okay, or are there some necro dudes in here now? Yeah, there are some necro dudes.
That skill's not ready.
Those are the ones we cannot kill. And there's that. And then the final push. Ooh, there's Reinhardt and a supporter.
Not ready.
Just nervously making sure there's no Arcanists here. Well, you're not doing much, and now you're all alone. Okay, we'll just charge you. Rip your spirit out, leech your life. Murder all the things. Marvelous. And then we just casually stroll into Fort Ikon. And if I remember correctly, we do have to defend the gateway inside. Because suddenly all kinds of icky things will be pouring out. I really like that Sigil of Consumption that just auto-casts itself. It's on the Occultist, it is one of my favorite skills. But it is very nice to just have an item that automatically applies it as well. Combined with all the other defensive auto-casting skills, or offensive, defensive, self-casting skills. Things like Spectral Wrath.
That skill's not
And
ready.
now, then we got quite a nice thing going on here. Okay, now Bonebreaker, Reinhardt and a Bruiser. Just kill all mages. Hulks hit hard,
I can't do that yet.
but so do mages. Okay, shout at you a little. And there we go. And ooh, that one was not yet broken. And look at that, all the loot, all the loot. Well, there were casters in there, so there is potential for that some of the loot might even be helpful. Really have to just double check that. And now we've unlocked a Fort Ikon once again. Bounty table.
Good. You've arrived.
Squishitor. It will be done. Then we need to go downstairs. What do you need? We will get your supplies. And then we're done here. And that's a good time to call it. So yeah, progress through Aztecarn. Good as always. Not a lot of opposition. The heroes were merciful. Carol's tanky, but doable. So next episode, Tomb of the Archon. I think there's gonna be one of those things that actually is an achievement for killing the Archon in there. So that's gonna be nice. And after that, the Cellar of Fort Ikon with Lucius. That's gonna be interesting. For now though, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching and hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.